All right, this is High Flyer TV, episode 3. I'm joined by Sergeant Schlickenmeyer and Sergeant DeLarge out of Sea Flight. How you all doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I think I was telling Sergeant Schlickenmeyer every day starting to feel like the same at this point. So just trying to do something different every day. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So what you all been doing during the quarantine?
Same thing. Taking care of the family, taking care of kids. It's been quite a challenge, especially from working from the office Monday to Friday. Come home, trying to do it at home. You got to pick and choose your times, right? Before they wake up, nap time is when trying to get some work done. Besides that, just hanging out, getting some stuff done around the house.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing, man. Nap time is big here. Nap time is the time you get done. That whole hour and a half, that's the best time you're done. But other than that, just hanging out in the house, doing stuff around the house, hanging up pictures, stuff that should have been done, changing ceiling fans, whatever. Just staying busy.
Yeah, I think I've became I don't want to say professional, but better at balancing my kid and my computer at the same time. It's been difficult at first, but he never wants to be put down. But he's only 10 months, so you all have older children?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, I got
phase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a 4-year-old and she'll be 2, and a girl that's 2. She'll be 2 next month.
Wow.
They don't want to do nothing until you pick up your phone.
Oh, exactly. They want to see your lap. Yeah.
You open up that laptop and they're like, I want to sit on your lap.
Exactly, man. Or you're on a conference call and everybody wants to be loud in the house at one time, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what's that.
Yeah, I'm sitting in my closet right now, so just so I can shut 2 doors, right? Make sure they're not in here.
Yeah, I feel you. So, what areas are you all out of?
So you can go first, DeLarge.
Oh, so I cover all of Cincinnati right now, and pretty much the upper north side of Cincinnati and Middletown right now, because that's zone vacant. So I cover 2 zones right now. So I bounce between the 2 when I have to.
Okay.
And then I had all of northern Kentucky until about last month. I finally got an office partner in. I worked it for about 2 years, and then so Sergeant Singleton just took over the other half of my zone. So I'm happy. My zone got split up into distinct for production wise, but it's definitely bringing down my goals. So that's good. Mostly just all northern Kentucky on the east side of it.
Cool. And then what about your flight? So your flight, what's the dynamic in your flight? I mean, are folks interested in professional development? Are they more just focused on production? Is your flight just we gonna win everything type of flight, or hey, all around we're gonna try to do everything the best we can?
I think it's definitely do everything the best we can, man. But I believe in a one team, one fight type of mindset, man. We gotta be able to help each other out, because regardless of what your goal is or somebody else's goal is, we all got the same end goal, and that's to put people in the Air Force, and get it done to the best of our ability. So whether we all got events we can all go to or help each other out, however it's swinging it, whether you win a war is cool, great, but at the end of the day, like I always say, when it's all said and done, man, those awards end up in a box with some dust on them, and don't nobody remember that.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think our dynamic is really well. We're pretty rookie flight. Sergeant Noel's been here a little bit more than 2 years, and then I've been here for 2 years, and then Sergeant DeLarge, Sergeant Fails. What, you guys just hit your year mark, right?
Yeah, like next month, like a year.
Yeah. And then Sergeant Bailey and Sergeant Singleton, they've been here for a month or 2. So I think we're pretty rookie on that end of it. But I think we're all doing well. We're all motivated for sure to try to get the mission accomplished. But as Sergeant DeLarge said, we've definitely been working together because we're mostly inexperienced side of it. So we all do have to rely on each other.
Awesome. And I'm glad you said that. So since your flight, you like you said, is mostly rookies and inexperienced, like you termed it. What's some things that you all think you struggle with, or have struggled with? What's the most common things?
My biggest
I think
one was time management. Man, listen, I like, man, I'm out of time to do everything. I set aside a specific time to do something, and then nope, missed it. Oh, now that's backed up. Now this is backed up. Nope, can't catch up on this. Now this person coming in. Oh, now I gotta get home for this. It was time management. Oh, I gotta be at this school in time. Didn't count on this 30 minutes of traffic. I'm like, oh, you know what? So that was my biggest one.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. Time management is huge for me on that side of it too. But I think one of the biggest things that we've been struggling with has been lead generation on that side of it, especially during this time. But I mean, we're all every time we're talking about it in like group chats and stuff, we're always talking about how we're all struggling with getting qualified people in the office, which I mean, that's 90% of the country really. But we've all been sharing tactics back and forth, and of course trying to help with zone canvassing before this happened with COVID. Working on that together, doing zone canvassing together, doing events together. Just any way to drum up business.
Okay, so time management is a big one. Yeah, I think that's very important. I think the average recruiter still to this day, I mean, even if you're experienced, time management is still something you got to continue to work on, which is probably, I think, the hardest part. Definitely the hardest part because we got so much we need to do, but then we also got other tasks outside of recruiting that we need to do, like professional development. And speaking of that, what have you all been doing to develop yourselves during this quarantine period?
Oh man. I signed up for 2 college courses, so trying to juggle that as well. And then uh, trying to stay physical fitness on that side of it. Not being able to go just hard. That's where I do all of my. I'm not a guy who, like just normal push-ups and sit-ups, so having to change my whole workout routine's kind of been a struggle for me on that side of it. Um, but I mean, there's tons of training stuff that's been going on that the squadron or the group or AFRS is sending out. So I know we all of C-Flight has been working trying to get some processes done better and on that side of it. So definitely been working on that.
Yeah, for me, man, I'm a big slacker in school, so I ain't been back to school in a minute. I need to get on it. But for me, man, like during this time, we're all extremely fortunate to still be getting paid and still have free medical and all that, and still be able to work. So I just honestly, I've been throwing a lot of my time into the community, man, with my church up here, and just been trying to help feed kids, deliver food to the elderly, dropping off Easter eggs for in-home Easter egg hunts, man. So I literally spend a lot of time just trying to help out the community however we out, man. That's what I've been doing a lot of.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard of it, but in the squadron we have a working group that we're doing, and it's just a group of people from different flights that we just meet and try to tackle ideas and issues in the squadron. And one of them that I take the lead on is professional development. And the biggest thing we've been hearing with professional development is that it's not really a priority in recruiting because we're so focused on recruiting, so like going to school or professional development courses or anything, it's really hard to do because you're so focused on production, especially when you're newer. So we're trying to figure out ways to make that a priority, and I don't know if your flight chief kind of pushes that as a priority because eventually you either go back to your career field or become a flight chief or supervisor someone again. And I mean, it's going to be something that's needed. So that's good that you all are continuing to do that, especially in quarantine season, because it's harder because you got to find things that aren't traditional. And I've been following this page on Facebook. It's called Airmen Developing Airmen. It's a virtual page on Facebook, and they post stuff all the time about professional development. So I think that's a rather easy way to get that done as well. So cool. So transitioning, you two are one of the main people that on social media, I wouldn't call it stealing, but I definitely take a lot of content from you all almost every day and copy your posts. So how do you all do that as far as like maintaining your social media pages and what drives that, for you all?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I just try to share relevant information that's pertinent to people that sticks out. That people always got the craziest questions about the Air Force. So if it sticks out or if it's pertinent or to catch someone's attention, I just try to post it. And I think most importantly, when you got people joining the Air Force, it's good to see other people joining the Air Force. So some people feel like they be the only ones joining. Like, I'm the only one joining. Like, nah, man, it's people all over joining. So it just drives. I just like being on social media, man, interacting with people. So I just post the posts sometimes. Like, I post to see what happens.
Yeah. And are y'all 90s babies or 80s babies? I know y'all not 70s babies. Y'all don't look that up.
Yeah. No, I was born in '90. So just on that verge.
Yeah, 90 exactly.
All right, cool. So, I mean, I guess the other question is when you talk about social media, because we all kind of grew up in a time where the internet, especially social media, wasn't really popping, and then internet wasn't what it is now. Is it difficult to connect on social media with younger folks? Are you all out of touch with them sometimes? You think?
It just depends, man. It just depends. I think I learned a lot from my younger debt members about what's cool and what's not, and what music they listen to. Oh, that's what y'all listening to today? Okay, I get it. That's what y'all listening to. But sometimes it's just difficult to connect because they're just so cool. They just have their own little lingo and do their own thing. And I thought I was fairly young, but I've been called old a couple times. I'm 29. So I thought I was young. I thought I knew my lingo.
Yeah, but you all got some good social media tactics. I think another person who I'm actually interviewing next week, Son Wickham, on his social media tactics because he be on it too, man.
Yeah, he's big on that.
Yeah, I need his editing. He has his photos of people shipping air and so and
Yeah.
so.
I'm always asking him how he's making those nice photos. He sent me what's that? Hold on a second. It's called Pick Arts is what he sent. There's an app that he uses. You can go to anything and edit anything on there. So that was nice. So I've been doing that with some of my stuff.
He told me, I mean, I'm sure he'll talk about it next week as well, but he was letting me know. I asked him, what app do you use to repost stuff? And he was like, such and such app. And he was like, yeah, it costs a few bucks. I was like, this dude's dedicated. He out here paying for apps too? Nah, dude. Nah, we're going to need some squadron funds for that. Nah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Tell him to share his account. Maybe we can all use it.
Right?
iTunes.
That's funny.
Our squadron iTunes.
Well, yeah. So switching gears again, man. Let's talk about family life balance. So that's a big one too. So I think that's for anybody who works. You got to maintain your family life, and you got your career, and you got physical fitness, your goals, all this stuff. So, do you all think you do a good job balancing everything?
Oh man, this rough. There's times like there'll be months, right, when you go into the month, you got a little bit of a queue. It definitely helps out to make it a little bit more balanced because you're not like hitting the streets every single day. Especially towards the end of the month, right? It changes, right? The beginning of the month's a little bit easier. You got usually about 30 days to get your goal, but then when it comes down to last week and you ain't made it yet, you're spending a little bit more time at work. But big thing is just that time management, right? If you don't work hard at that time management, you're never going to be home when you want to be home. You're always going to be at work, and when you are home, you're doing work. So that's the foundation to make sure that you get to spend the time where you want to spend it. It's not as easy as that, right? I still struggle with that constantly. with trying to be able to make it to the gym in the morning and then head off to work, and then leave work at a certain time, right, to try to get home to be able to eat dinner with the kids. That's one of the big things that's for me, or that's one of my big goals is I want to be home for dinner and eat dinner with my kids every night, and my wife, of course. So that's my motivation to make sure that I'm using my time management a little bit more.
For me, man, starting out, it was a little rough. I ended up doing a lot of work at night when my daughter go to bed and whatnot. And that's started out a little rough, just trying to knock stuff out 10 o'clock at night, man. And then eventually I just had to set like a standard for myself. Like, after this time, I'm not doing any work. Like, it's going to be there tomorrow at the end of the day. And leaving work on time it was hard at first. I always tell my wife at this time, and then 45 minutes go by, I'm still there. And if this day I got to pick my daughter up from daycare, that's always gonna come first. I was like, regardless of what's going on, picked up from daycare. So regardless of what's going on, but you just gotta balance it out, man. Sometimes it's hard to balance it. Sometimes it's not. But I tell everybody, man, when this is all said and done, this Air Force life, whether it's 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years, your family's gonna be the one there, man. Regardless of what you want for life, the Air Force ain't coming to sit by your bedside when you get sick. So you gotta put them first, and putting them first is easy because if you put them first, you'll take care of your work. Because getting work done gets them taken care of. Because if you fail at your job, then ultimately, you get in trouble. This mess up, it messes up family life. So long as you keep them as the priority, you'll get your work done because you got to take care of them, and that's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
I agree.
What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. I would say I'm very fortunate, and I say that because when I got to my office, I had a great office partner when I first got here, and this guy was great at balancing. Now, he had just met his wife now, but his fiance back then, and his thing, man, every Friday, I think Wednesday and Friday, he would be golfing. Like, he would be golfing. He drove a Corvette. This dude would be golfing. Like, what I'm saying? No care in the world. He would come in on Mondays. He would leave like at 12. And, I always wanted to know how he did that. And he literally showed me the ropes and how to do everything. And from that time, he showed me that I just kept consistent and continuing to do those things. So that way I can't think of a time. Now, this is not the usual way it goes, but I can't think of a time I've spent 12 hours in the office or 12 hours working. I can't think of a time I've done that. And it's just because I've always, since he taught me how to do that, maintained what I was going to do in that day and just did it and was able to say, after this, the rest is going to be for tomorrow, whatever the case may be. Now, I can say one thing I struggle with is the phone. There used to be a time where I used to be returning people's calls who didn't even leave voicemails. Like, I felt like I had to talk to everybody.
Yep.
Like, I couldn't let this slip. So, with the help of my wife, I learned to not do that, and adapt. Still getting better at the phone situation, but it's hard. It's hard, and I think the point of the show is to show recruiters that it's okay not to be 100% perfect, because you're not going to be perfect, but it's normal that you have these same struggles that everybody else has. So, I just want, I guess, all the recruiters out there to know that, you're going to struggle and probably continue to grow in that area, whatever area you're growing in, but that's okay. You don't have to feel down and feel like you're not adequate. No recruiter, even if they seem like they're living a life, is not struggling in some area. I think that's important. So that's good. That's some good feedback. So the point of this show is, like I just said, to kind of help recruiters and to give tips and tricks, but also this platform is for us. So I loved how Sergeant DeLarge was like, do they want us to shave our beards? And I'm like, this is our platform. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is something that I brought to squadron leadership, and I thought it'd be a good idea. And they were like, hey, we're here to support, however, but it's your show. I just, keep it professional and try my best to help folks. But with that being said, I mean, for rookie recruiters, and I know my son DeLarge is hitting up, his year mark. Sergeant Schlickenmeyer, you've been here quite a bit. I mean, so what tips and tricks do you have for rookie recruiters that just come into recruiting, don't know what's going on? They think that the schoolhouse was the hardest thing on earth, but not realizing that it's about to get way harder. What do you all recommend and any tips or tricks for them?
I'll let you answer first, DeLarge.
Yeah, for me, a lot of I was used to talking to people. I'm fine with talking to people. I was a cop, so the easiest thing for me to do is talk to people. I talk to anybody. I don't care. It's just like the step by step, like you trying to just learn how to do everything right. You mark this form right, mark that form right. Mets is kicking it back. This is happening. I'm like, I sent this form 10 times. They kicked it back 10 times. I don't know what. So a big one, man. Thankfully, I had a good flight. We had a slick, man. We had a good chat, and that was just ask questions. That's the biggest one. And if you're a seasoned recruiter, like take that rookie under your wing and like I don't care if you got a hand walk, baby walk, crawl walk, run. Just take him under your wing and teach him everything you could that messed you up in the end. Like, hey, if he call you, even if you're an appointment, chances are he really needs your help because he got somebody sitting in front of him. He has no clue what to do. So thankfully, I had Slick, and then thankfully my office partner was a rookie too. So we leaned on each other for a lot of stuff. Like, hey, you know how to do this? I don't know how to do this. Let's call Slick, and that's what we would do. and even if you're in an appointment, man, if a rookie recruiter calls you, he really needs your help. He can probably try every way to figure it out. So just help your rookie recruiters because you went through those same struggles once. So having help, man, having a lifeline that you can call anytime for help was the biggest thing for me. Just having somebody that can, like, yeah, do this, do that, fix it this way. If you can't figure it out, call me back. I'll help you figure it out. And that was the best thing.
Yeah, and then that's of course true. If you don't know the answer, don't sit there and just wait for it to pop up and magically appear. Call somebody, text somebody. If you're really good at looking it up in the SOPG, do that. That was not my forte of digging through an Excel doc just to get an answer. So I always call people first, right? So that's usually not the answer people want to hear. But that's how I find the quickest way to get help. And then also, don't be embarrassed about not knowing any answers or not knowing how to do something. So even if you've done it before, right? Like waivers, like I relied a lot on seasoned recruiters to get waivers done because they're hard, right? There's a tons of steps to them, and plus, you don't do them very often. But also, it's don't have that pride either, right? Break down and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to ask somebody for help. Is one of the best ways you're going to get steps ahead quickly. And then one of the things that I did that beat me up really easily is taking everything personal, right? You have someone that comes into your office wanting to join the Air Force, and you go through the whole process with them, and at some point they're like, "Nah, I don't want to do this anymore." Right? You've invested a lot of time, right? So you have pride in that person in that whole process, and then they just say, "Nah." So that was beating me up every time I had a can. I was taking it personal. I was like, what did I do wrong? Right? Because that's a big thing in recruiting, right? When you get a can, you didn't sell that person good enough. You didn't do X, Y, and Z. So just don't take it personal. You're going to have them. Everybody has cans. Hopefully not everybody has in weeks, but sometimes they do happen. Just don't take it personal.
Definitely. Some good tips. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about how many cans I've had, but I had a lot of in weeks. Man, we can. Yeah, that's a whole nother talk. But that's some good advice. I think this is going to help a lot of recruiters, and I want you all to know that this is a newer platform, and a lot of times, you definitely can give the information, but it's up to individuals to actually search and look at the information we're giving them. But I want you all to know that this is going to be helpful for recruiters. So, you'll see the value in this later because there are people watching. I do get feedback about individuals who actually find these types of platforms helpful, for them. And people will start reaching out more and just knowing who your fellow team is because we're so far apart. They know, hey, well, I didn't know who Sergeant Schlickenmeyer was, but I saw he was the top recruiter. But now I know how he looks. Oh, I ran into this guy multiple times. Now I'm not afraid to ask him a question about something. Or I see Sergeant DeLarge, I hear that name all the time. Or I see it on Facebook all the time. I never knew who it was. He's actually a cool guy. So things like that I think are very helpful. And I want to thank both of you all because I know Sergeant DeLarge. I watch your Facebook all the time, and I not only do I see you with your recruiting efforts, but you post a lot of pictures from your past, and I can tell, just career wise. I mean, you've done a lot of cool things, a lot of awesome things, and a lot of things that are not just affecting the Air Force, but I mean, this is stuff that was publicly, broadcast. So I think that's pretty amazing. The same thing with you, Sergeant Schlickenmeyer. I mean, just you from the time you got here, as far as production and performance. I remember the first time I saw you come into the squadron, we were at a semi-annual, and the soup called you or something by name, and I'm like, who is this guy? I don't even know who he is, but obviously, he's doing this thing. If the leadership knows him by name already, and I thought that was pretty awesome. So I definitely want to say thank you to you both. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day, and we can end it right here. Okay.
Sure, man. Appreciate you having us, man. I know we were supposed to do it in person before this whole Corona thing.
Yeah, cool.
We was all ready to go. But no, way to set this up, man, and get another thing for our recruiters and our flight and our unit to look at, man. Just see that we all know we all have the same struggles, whether it's family, professional development, career-wise, rookie recruiters, veteran recruiters. We all go through the same struggles. All right, we ain't going through them. We went through them, and we know how to help the next recruit out to get through them. So that's what's most important, man. And being so geographically separated, this really helps out a lot. So I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, and thanks, man. Thanks for setting this up. I do want to let you guys know, the whole squadron, if you guys need any help for anything, I'm the only Schlickenmeyer in the whole freaking Air Force, so it's pretty easy to find me. But just hit me up on anything. If you can get me on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. You guys have a question, just shoot it out to me. You guys want to text me, call me, whatever. I'm open to help anybody. I know DeLarge is as well, and especially Kendrick, he is too. So definitely use your tools and assets you guys have at hand.
All right. This is High Flyer TV, where we report the real on recruiting.